Good morning. Thank you for observing the service which we're recording for the Pasadena Buddhist Temple for the second Sunday in January 10th of 2021. If you would, please listen reverently or join me in the chanting of the Juseige, which will be followed by a Dharma message. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Busatsu, Daimuryo, Jukyo, Juseige, Gagoncho, Thegan, Kishimu, Jodo, Shigan, Hu, Mandoku, Theifujo, Shogak, Gao, Muryoko, Huindai, Seishu, Futhai, Sho, Bingu, Theifujo, Shogaku, Gashijo, Buttendo, Myoshoto, Jippo, Kukyo mi shomon, Theifujo shogaku, Ryokujin shonen, Joe shu bongyo, Shigumu jodo, Isho tenin shi, Jinriki en daiko, Ushomu taido, Hyojo san kumyo, Kosai shu yakunan, Kaihi chi eigen, Meshi kon moan, Hei sokusho akudo, Tsudatten shumon, Kosojo mandoku, Iolo jippo, Nichigatten shu juki, Tenko onfugen, Ishu kai hodo, Koseiku dokuho, Jo odai shuchu, Seppo shi shiku, Kuyo itai buten, Gu sokushu tokuhon, Ganne joman, Tokui sangayo, Nyobuten mu gechi, Tsudatten mi husho, Gangaku eriki, Toshi sai shoson, Shiganya koka, Daisen no kando, Koku sho tenin, O Chinmyoke. Namanabu, 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 namanabu. Gani shikudoku, Byodo sei isai, Dohoten monai, Shin honyo. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namandabu, 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 namandabu. Namo Buddha Butsu. Namo Buddha Butsu. Namo Buddha Butsu. Well, again, good morning, and thank you for observing this service and Dharma talk, which we are preparing for the Pasadena Buddhist Temple for January 10th of 2021. The Pasadena Buddhist Temple is currently closed to the public. We are relying on these cyber messages, these video services, to get our message out, to get our messages out. We will continue to place services and Dharma messages and lectures and practical instructions for ritual behaviors on the internet, on YouTube under the Pasadena Buddhist Temple. And one day we will be able to meet in person at this temple again. A topic I often address in face-to-face study classes is, what is most important to you? What is most important to you is a good question. It is a good question that can lead to serious and productive reflection. However, this morning I would like to investigate with you my reflections on a related question, and that question is, what do you trust? Who or what can you really trust? Now, if you're my age or older, you'll remember a TV game show called Who Do You Trust? I remember back in 1959, Groucho Marx retired and Johnny Carson took it over. And Johnny did about a year-long joke he finally dropped about how, well, shouldn't it be whom do you trust? I mean, who do you trust is ungrammatical, isn't it? This joke should be called Whom Do You Trust? Well, I don't want to get into the grammar of this because I can tell you, I trust the Jodo Shinshu tradition of Mahayana Buddhism. We all need to know who and what we trust. Actually, I trust the great stream of Mahayana Buddhism. I suspect that all 200 or so schools of Mahayana Buddhism are trustworthy. I suspect that any of the 200 or so schools of Buddhism are trustworthy because I've only studied about half of them closely at all, so there may be a couple there I don't understand very well. All these schools of Buddhism share the fundamental principles that Jodo Shinshu Buddhism is based upon. Impermanence, interdependence, oneness. We all have the same basis. Also, there is a self-corrective, self-critical thrust to the Buddha Dharma that helps me to trust it. There is a trustworthy, self-critical aspect to Buddhist spirituality. We Buddhists re-examine, reassess, and reconsider our ideas and practices all the time. Even our most central and fundamental ideas are reassessed all the time, reevaluated. Buddhism is self-corrective in this way and therefore trustworthy. So our school of Buddhism is great. All types of Mahayana Buddhism are valid and trustworthy. Other religious traditions can also be very positive and nurturing if you can trust in them. Who and what do you trust is a very important question. It is important that Americans at the outset of 2021 are clear on who and what we trust. As some of you may remember, I was raised as a Roman Catholic. I went through 12 years of parochial schooling, Catholic schooling. In fact, I received the Religion Award graduating from grammar school and high school. The high school award was called the LaSalle Religion Award. And I was the only student at the school that did not take communion at the graduation mass, because I didn't believe the teaching anymore. But I could explain it all right. I understood Thomistic theology, I just didn't believe it anymore. That religious schooling was a mix of positive influences and negative influences, which I still carry with me. Probably pretty similar to public schooling, a mixture of positive experiences and negative memories. This morning I want to tell you an anecdote from my parochial schooling. This anecdote has been heard a few times by the members of our crucial leadership group, the SOGs, the Sons of Gardeners. They're not just a maintenance group. Our crucial leadership group, and you never mention names, this is a rule, but I break a lot of rules. And so the SOGs are at least and inclusive of Alan Hatakeyama, Scott Shinmoto, Mark Oune, Alan Goto, Bobby Fukumoto, Marvin Inoue, Alan Nakagawa, and Ron Toshima, Kyoko Gibbs. And my status with the SOGs is I'm Kyoko Gibbs' husband. So we all have some connection with the SOGs, and they're a very important group that keep us going here. So, my apology to the SOGs who have heard this story before, but most of you hadn't, and this is from 1957. I'm in 3rd grade. Father Sergio Negro comes to speak to the kids, one of our 2 parish priests. They were good priests, James Peterson and Sergio Negro. Father Negro was Italian. He'd have been about 6 or 8 years old probably when Mussolini's forces took over, the fascists took over. So he escaped fascist Italy to come to Fresno, California to teach Roman Catholicism. He'd been through a few things. And we're in 3rd grade, and you know a few things you remember from when you're 8 years old. I swear I remember every word he said. In 3rd grade, somebody in the class, maybe they had a Japanese-American friend, I don't know. They said, "Father, what happens to Buddhists when they die?" It was an unusual question to come up in a Catholic school in 1957. So it struck me, and I was only 8 years old, and that was 64 years ago, and I swear I remember exactly what he said. This Catholic priest, at that time a bit shy of 30 years old, having escaped Italian fascism and emigrated to Fresno, California to share his spiritual vision, when asked about the well-being of those who belong to other religions after they die, being asked specifically about what happens to Buddhists when they pass away, he had this to say. He said, "I believe that Buddhists are turning themselves towards what is good as they understand it. They don't have the revelation that we have, they don't have the sacraments, but I believe that Buddhists are turning themselves towards what is good as they see it. And therefore, I believe that when they die, Jesus will appear to them somehow and take them to heaven." This was quite a striking thing for an 8-year-old Catholic boy to hear, and it is that vision of inclusiveness is a beautiful thing. And you know, I pretty much agree with him. It's just reverse. I think that when Christians die, some Buddha or Bodhisattva is going to appear to them and take them into the realm of enlightenment because they are turning themselves, good Christians, towards what is good and true as they understand it. Just like Father Negro allowed that I, as a Buddhist, am turning myself towards what is good and true as I understand it. And reality will take care of such people. What is this goodness that people of various religions are trying to share with us? I think Father Negro was exactly right, that people in religion and philosophies and political philosophies, the only question is, are they turning themselves towards what is good and true and gentle, or are they not? So what is this goodness that people of various religions are trying to turn themselves towards? Goodness is acceptance. Goodness is inclusion, acceptance, gentility, lightness, kindness, softness. Softness is an important quality in Jodo Shinshu Buddhism. Softness. This is the goodness that all valid religions and philosophies are trying to turn their followers towards. I trust the Jodo Shinshu Buddhist approach because I have encountered good people and goodness in this tradition. Do you trust this teaching, the Jodo Shinshu teaching, the Nembutsu teaching? I hope so. After critical reflection, after critical and self-critical thought, I do trust this tradition. There is access to goodness here. There is lightness to this teaching. There is kindness in the Nembutsu path. There is softness, there is gentility. Please join me on this path. And for now, as you will, as you please, you might want to join me in Gassho, posture of respect and peace, and say the Nembutsu a few times, and counter the truth just a bit here. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom light and endless life. Namo Amida Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Buddhamanda, Namo Amida Butsu. Namanda Butsu, Namo Amida Butsu. We rely upon the source of limitless wisdom and endless life. Namanda Butsu. Thank you very much for your kind attention.